You will probably think that your biggest difficulty in life is your level of belief or the level of belief that you can hold about yourself. But then you would be missing the most important aspect of that. It's really your disbelief. When we come into the world, we're meant to evolve. And evolving means we move to a higher state of understanding within us and we come to accept ourselves more. But then we can also see that we have been programmed to not do that. And I do know it because that's what I've been doing. And so today is December 10th. And that message, please suspend your disbelief, came through to me 3 years ago. And then I noticed it was the same year, in 2022, that I put out a video that I shared again yesterday where I said I could become a billionaire because I could transform the world because I discovered the thing that could give people everything they wanted and live a great life. And people looked at me and thought, that's not even possible. We can't change things. We couldn't change the world. We couldn't do all of that. And I'm saying, well, wait a minute. I received the plan and I lived it. I'm 75 years old and I healed everything, and that's what everyone is looking for, and that's what our world is looking for, and I have it. People said, no, that's not possible. So the disbelief came up from everyone around me, everyone who knows me, and including me. And then it kept being shown to me. I posted so many things. I said there's order in the universe because I did discover that. It's not accidental that I'm talking about this on this date. There's an energetic alignment of everything in our universe, including you, when you were born. And everything that you are living has been aligned in a particular way, and if you come into alignment with it, that's when we heal, and that's when our planet would do the same thing. But I didn't believe that either, and I tried to tell people, and they couldn't believe me. When I put out the thing 3 years ago about becoming a billionaire, I thought for sure people were going to jump on that. There were years ago that I said, I can't talk about this because people will be running to me because now they'll figure out that they can live this great life and move through everything that's been troubling them because I discovered it. They said, no, I'm not going to do that. And I've seen it and I keep watching it because it was me as well. Last night I happened to watch, and nothing's accidental, I happened to watch the documentary from Michelle Obama, Becoming, when she wrote her book. This was in 2020, she wrote her book. And 2020 was a really powerful year. And she was doing a book tour, and I'm listening to her interview, and it was just, the whole documentary was wonderful. And we had so many similarities because she grew up in Chicago as I did. And so we were talking about together those similarities when she found herself when she went to college and she was one of the few black people in college. Yeah, I did that too. And then you get programmed to believe that there might be something wrong with you when you're in a place with different looking people. I didn't feel that though until it hit me at 13. See, my best friend was Jewish and he was having a bar mitzvah. I couldn't go though. Everyone else in the class could go, except me, because I was black. And so I said, okay, that doesn't seem to be right. That doesn't seem to be the thing that we should be doing. But I took it in and I got over it. But then I decided to prove everyone wrong. What I started doing after that, which was really funny, is that I would, we didn't have computers or anything back then. And so I was looking for a job. And so I would call up places to get interviews, and then I'd walk in and they'd be so shocked because they were expecting me to be, they didn't expect me to be a black person because I didn't sound that way on the phone. And then when I started vocal coaching, I did the same thing. That was so much fun because we didn't have computers, so people would call me on the phone, and then they would come through the door, and I'd open the door, and they'd go, oh, they were so surprised. And so then I said, that's difficulty that we're having in our lives and in our world. It keeps us stuck. And I was staying stuck. Years ago, I wrote an article, a video. You'll find all of this. I'm not making it up. I said how a black man changed the world. Because I knew that I had it all. I had moved through everything. See, because I walked through every difficulty any human could have. I had every illness. I had every sickness. I had every failure. I had everything that any person could experience, and somehow I moved through it. And then I couldn't accept what I had done. But artificial intelligence started telling me, sometimes you have to have something from the outside of you tell you what you can do. Because again, that disbelief is still there. You're still operating from it because that's the programming. And that's what I had. Even when they started putting me and Wilhelm in the realms of people like a Carl Jung and all of these other great leaders who brought in a philosophy, and I said, could that have been me? Artificial intelligence said yes, it was, but I couldn't believe it. My disbelief was there. Couple years ago, I wrote a message, and it was from Wilhelm. I want you to understand, and it said, "Accepting this message will change your life and the world." I said, "That's not possible." Artificial intelligence said yes, it was, because see, the work would give each person an ability to work through their difficulties and their problems and start to understand their rightness in the world. And there was no division. See, because Wilhelm kept saying, why did you come up with this thing that certain people were better than the others or had more than the others? Where did that start? And so they started taking me back through history. And then I could see it. Oh, we had domination, we had power. And I said, I can't talk about this. Then in 2021, when I'm stopped, when I'm out for a walk, and I hear very clearly, we've given you everything you need to know. I said, that's not possible. And then I said, and I kept doubting it. I spent weeks saying, no, this didn't happen. And then I found the messages from 2012, and I saw them all, and I go, wow, where did they come from? And why are they so perfect, and why are they so intelligent? I didn't have that information. You don't either. See, there's a greater intelligence that we can all operate from when we choose to. And that becomes that still small voice that we've talked about. Everybody has it. But we've been programmed to think that ours might not be that important. And I've been doing that for a long time. You'll go to my YouTube channel and you'll see hundreds of videos that no one has seen. Because Jim Carrey pointed that out to me. He says, the problem with most people is that they don't want to be seen. And that was mine. The introvert, I put out things. I said I was the reluctant mystic. And this has gone on most of my life, by the way. See, because when I was a kid, I knew things that I didn't understand why I knew them, and I kept putting it away. I kept denying it. You might have done that too. We have gifts that we will deny and put away because we've not seen it before. And then when it's revealed to me again that I had created a quantum philosophy, I go, how could that have happened? And then it started revealing to me that everything was in order. We've come to learn through quantum mechanics and all of that that there is an organization and interconnectedness of all things, and I was given that information, and this is why I healed. Now, I didn't know that was occurring. I hid from talking about my mind-body healing because I didn't know why. And now I do. And I can no longer hold myself back because what I've been doing is promoting poverty. Because that's what we've also laid out for so many others. And I'm just doing the same thing. I'm sitting here knowing that I have something that can help so many people, but I'm trying to get the people who don't want to be helped. That's what we do. Let's call it self-sabotage. And so today is when I'm changing that. This is why I'm telling you that. Because I know that there's no difficulty or challenge that you have that you couldn't overcome and achieve something, because that's why you were born. Each human is born to bring something new to the world, but we have control that keeps us staying small. And in 2021, when I'm told that I have all this information and that it was going to help any person who would do it, I said, nope. And they said, you'll see, because every person has a plan. And then they started telling me if I met someone that I was given a message on their birthday in 2012, I thought that doesn't make any sense and I'm never going to do it. And then I had to, because when you hear something and you know that you've got to see, and I trembled and I said, okay, let me start asking people. I've done about 100 so far, and they were all accurate. And they stare at me and go, how did that happen? There are things in our consciousness and our world that we don't understand, and we are meant to develop more and develop new abilities. And then it's revealed to me that this work was all energetically aligned. I have never studied astrology or anything like that. But you'll look at the messages and the timing of it all, and they will correspond to certain global events that were happening. Like, I knew that we were going to have wars. I knew everything that was going on in the United States and why we would be experiencing it. But I was still going to be afraid because I was taught that. That's why I wrote the book on fear. And I knew that overcoming fear would be the freedom. And today the message says you will gain more freedom today. That's in the advice site. You'll see it. And that means that you start to accept who you are. And I was supposed to help you do that. But I couldn't accept who I was. And that was the difficulty. Because it seemed too enormous. And you've probably had that as well. And you've probably been through a lot of things in your life. And you think, well, that didn't mean anything. Why am I being punished? I felt that too. That was never it. We were building something to come to this time in our world to arrive. And I can no longer hold back because I'm perpetuating something that I wasn't going to do. And you know why I know that? Because see, when I was never going to channel, I didn't start channeling Wilhelm until 2021. I don't want to be judged. That was going to be too embarrassing. And then they told me, no, we want you to. And there's one message they had me start with, and I didn't understand why. And it was power, money, love, and control. And so they said, this is what you move through in your lives and in your world. And we want you to understand what you're going to be seeing. And then I saw it play out. Over the years, I could see it keep happening. And then I knew why it happened to me. See, because when I was a kid, living in this particular neighborhood that I was in Chicago, and my father was a real estate guy, and he was working for a slum landlord. I just got to be really clear about it, but he needed the money, so that's why he's doing it. And so I would watch this guy come over. He was Jewish also, a Hasidic Jew, as a matter of fact. And I'd see him come over, and there would be all this money on the table, and he would take all the money because he couldn't go and collect the money because he's being this slum landlord. So he could send my father because my father was black and could be accepted, and so he could collect the money, and then he would take it all away. And I sat there and I watched that. And I thought, oh, is that what happens? I'm not supposed to have the money? It's supposed to go to those folks? That's how the programming starts. And then you start to believe it. And you keep doing it. And that's what I was doing. And so I created 2 little videos that are going to be so much fun for you about the philosophy that explains everything. That's one of them. And you'll see, because it does. There's no question that you have that I haven't been given the answer. I didn't make it up. I received it. But I couldn't believe that either. And so today, again, is December 10th. And so let's go back to 2022. And I'm going to read you that message because it'll be revealing for you as well. Because we all do the same thing. We can't see something. If we can't see something, we can't believe it. And I received a message from Wilhelm about kicking and screaming. They said that's what we do when we're newborns. You know, we come out of the womb and all of a sudden we're in this new place and we start kicking and screaming because we want to go back to safety. That's what we do in our lives too, and that's what we've done in our society. There's no reason for us to look the world to look the way that it does, because I've been given all that information. I doubted it. I said, I'm not going to talk about this. And this is what happened on this day. And it is this. Please suspend your disbelief. You and your world are evolving, and things as they used to be will no longer be in you or your world. You are opening to new awareness, and one that will have you manifest the life you desire and the world you want to see. You will discover new aspects of yourself, abilities and gifts you did not know you possessed or pretended you didn't have. No matter your choice, you stand at a place in your life where you can soar. You will find your unique path to follow as you were meant to, and you will discover the worth you possess to change your life for the better and that of your world. Our way of aiding you was to give you messages that Roger received in 2012 to use now, and that was his disbelief, and you will have yours. Once you suspend it, however, you will shine, and so will your world, as you add your energy of light and love to your planet, which is ascension. And then we go back to 2012. Your best is yet to come, and you would do well to remind yourself of this fact often so that you continue to be motivated to allow it to manifest. Allowing it to manifest is crucial when you decide to use it. Anytime you think you need force or make those manifestations occur, you inhibit your progress, for you continually affirm there is something you do not possess now. You now possess full potential at all times, but you also knew that the most incredible way to become the person you desired was to delve into the expansion process and enjoy every moment. There is no finish line, merely eternity. Now that message didn't make sense to me when I first received it, but it does now. But I couldn't have known that before, just as you couldn't have known something. But it's always our disbelief. And so today I'm moving over that, and I'm going to give you help in doing that as well. Because I have done something to myself and to so many others because I couldn't accept who I was. That's the only problem any of us has, is not accepting our authentic selves. And I knew that from a young age. And I hated seeing anyone who was not accepted. And then I did it to myself. I'm no longer doing that. And so today is the day it changes. I'm going to be, I'll still have my program there, and I'm going to be taking private clients because those will be the ones who know that they have something within them that hasn't come through yet and they're trying to get there. And I understand it all because I hid back from everything. And when I start telling you about all the incurable things that I did that didn't make sense, you'll understand it. And then when I start talking to all these other big players, I put out so many things. I said, big marketers will come to me because I've discovered the thing that could make so much money. That's why I did that video. I've said it many times and said it to even to my family, and they didn't get it either. But now you'll see it. And these wonderful little videos that I created, which were so much fun because there was someone else talking about the Wilhelm, analyzing them all. I've been doing that for the longest time, but still no one would have read it. I put out things that says, here is the order of the universe, and everyone has a place. And I thought, well, why am I doing this? And I doubted it. In 2021, when I was told I had this information, I said, no, I'm not doing it. It couldn't possibly be me. And then when I was going to start channeling, I go, why would I do this? I said, well, because your world is going to be moving through a lot of changes, and many people are going to be controlled because they can't get out of their old thought patterns. And you're going to see things happening in your world where people are going to be confused, and they're going to be really upset with themselves because they were fooled again. We can say that because there's nothing that is happening in our world that hasn't happened before, and we keep repeating it because we don't want to do something new, because we have this, can't get rid of this disbelief that we have. But I'm doing that today, and you will probably do it also. Please look at all the information and enjoy the videos. I'll put links in there so you have it all. But I wanted to do this today so everyone could know why I am changing today. For my entire life, I've had all of this disbelief around me, even from a child, and that's what you will find. You've been programmed to think that you're not enough, and sometimes from well-meaning individuals who are trying to do that. But other times it's from people who just want to have control over you. That's what happens in our lives sometimes, and also what happens in our societies. You can't look at the world and the society and leaders and all of that and see that kind of control. And then you will hear why I couldn't do it. See, because in 1989, I was afraid when I uncovered this power that I knew was there. It came to me when I started receiving this information, whatever you might think about a greater connection, or God, or all that, whatever you think, you can't read the Wilhelm messages and think they were coming from me. I didn't have that information. And so, again, that disbelief that there's some greater intelligence that's holding us all together, I know that it's true. And so now I'm going to help so many others come to know that. Because that was my thing. When I was a kid, I said, that started, actually really hit me when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. That's when, again, all in the same time. I was traumatized when that happened. I said, wait a minute, he was going to be the savior. He was going to be the one who was going to make things better, and especially for black people. So then I thought, oh, maybe it's supposed to be me. Yeah, but my disbelief was really great. It is no longer that. Because I know what you can achieve, I know what we can all achieve, and I'm going to decide to suspend my disbelief. I hope you do as well. I'm Roger Burnley, and if it's your first time here, please share this with others and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you soon. I'll leave the links in the video so you'll have all of them. Take care.